Hi guys, welcome to Sumproduct Formula Excel video. So what is Sumproduct? I guess I describe it as a filtering formula. So we've got a Sumproduct formula here that's basically telling us that 53 pencils were purchased between the 1st and the 5th of March. Now, without a Sumproduct, we would possibly have to manually filter for this information. So if we go to the 1st and the 5th of March and filter for pencils, we get the same 53 figure that we have here. If you guys are manually filtering data like this on a daily basis, or if you're using multiple count if formulas, strongly recommend that you consider and use this Sumproduct formula, because it will save you a lot of time. So let's have a look, a little bit more detail and what's happening here. So this Sumproduct formula is counting between this range in column B if it's greater than or equal to what date is in C4, so the 1st of March, and then in column B if it's less than or equal to C5, which is the 5th of March, and then count in column F if it equals the word that's in C6, which is pencil, and then after it's summing basically everything that meets those three sets of criteria in column G. The structure to Sumproduct can vary. There's a few variations out there. I always use this dash dash, and it would always start for purposes of this video with equals Sumproduct open bracket dash dash every time. Then there will be, or there should be, multiple middle sections. So for example, we've got 3 middle sections in ours. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, but they're all set up in the same way with an open bracket, the data set in the middle, close bracket, comma, dash dash. It is important to put these in the right places. Then the last section, you can see, doesn't have an open bracket up here. It leads straight into the column where all of your numbers are that you add up or you want to sum, with a closed bracket at the end. So let's rewrite this formula. So equals Sumproduct open bracket dash dash, just as instructed. That's how we need to set it up. So the first middle section, we need an open bracket. We want to count if this column, and I'm going to lock it, is greater than or equal to the date in C4, close bracket, comma, dash dash. Then another open bracket, because we also want to count or sum if this column is less than or equal to the date in this cell, close bracket, comma, dash dash. Our third section, so we open bracket, we go to column F for where our pencils are, lock it again with F4. We want to know if that column equals the word that's in cell C6, close bracket, comma, dash dash. Just a side note there, you can, if you wanted to, put a quote and put the word pencil, close the quote. It'll do exactly the same thing, but it means that your formula is not as dynamic as it could be. You'd have to go into the formula and change that word every time you wanted to look for something different. So referring it to cell C6 means we will be able to change that cell to something else, which I'll show you in a bit. So that's our last middle section. The end section, as I say, does not have an open bracket. It leads straight into this column, which our volume is in. And we're going to lock that and close it off. So it's basically summing everything in column G that matches this criteria if it equals pencil and if it's between those dates. Press enter, and there's our 53. So we could change pencil now, as I say, to make this dynamic, to pens. We could change it to ruler, 66. And we know that that's going to be right. I could check it. I've checked this previously. It's absolutely right. So to help it a little bit more, well, firstly, if you wanted to add other sections to this, you might want to know how many mana England has purchased. You could just simply add another section wherever you like within the Sumproduct to put another, if you wanted to know how many were purchased between customers aged between certain ranges, certain ages. You could add that into it, and it doesn't matter where you put it, but I would advise to put it in some sort of order. So column B first, column C next, column D. It's up to you, but I prefer to put it in order. So I'm just going to scoop this formula. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put it up here, and I'm going to paste it in. Just to show you guys how quickly I can see how many of each different type of products were purchased over the course of 6 weeks. So I'm going to move this over here. You can see there's nothing in the cell right now, but I'm going to change that to pens, and then pencil, ruler, glue, and let's have rubber. Okay. So we want to drag this formula down and across, but it's not quite ready for us to do that yet. What we need to do, because we always want this date to be in row 1, we need to click on the date and press F4 twice, so that when we drag it down, that will always stay in row 1. And the same with the second bit, F4 twice. The third piece, we don't want it to be in 3 all the time. We always want it to be in column G. So when we drag it down, it will move to pencil, then ruler. But when we drag it across, it will stay in column G. So we press enter. We can drag this down. And there you go. Very quickly, between the 1st and the 7th, we can see how many of each product has been purchased. And now if we drag this across, it's counting the same information across the different weeks of the year. For example, if we click in this one, you see that glue has stayed in column G, and we can see the dates have moved across when we've dragged it across. One thing to note is the ranges that you use. So we've got from 11 to 1010. It has to be the same for every middle section and including the end section. So if I change that to a 1, you can see that now it's looking between G1 and G1010 and press enter. We'll get an error because every section has to be within the same range, which our range is 11 to 1010 for every section. And also if you miss a comma, it could give you a really skewed number, which will, I believe, is adding everything or timesing things together. So just make sure your commas and your dashes are in the same place. So I hope you guys find that useful and you can put that into practice and that it really saves you some time. If you have any questions, please post them up and I'll look at them. Thanks for watching.